Anthony Benedict Francisco Horan weighed just a few hundred grams when he was born on the 23rd of December 2018. Tiny, fragile, yet beautifully crafted in the image and likeness of God, but also sadly lifeless. The fourth of five children my wife and I have been blessed with, Anthony sadly didn't make it beyond 21 weeks. But that doesn't take anything away from how precious he was and how much value he had as a human being. He was alive fully for fully 21 weeks, and he lived, and he was, still is, and always will be a huge part of our family, a gift from God that had immeasurable value. And he was loved not just by our own family, but above all by God. And it's the same for every unborn child, and indeed for every human being. We all have immense value, and we're all worthy of the life that God has given us, however long He has deemed that to be. And that's why we must always strive by word and deed to share with others the value of every human being, from conception until natural death, and of course to pray. Prayer has incredible power. Sadly, over 10 million babies have been killed by abortion in the United Kingdom alone since 1967. Unlike Anthony, those babies were not wanted for one reason or another. Maybe their mother was afraid, maybe she was living in poverty, or maybe there was an abusive partner on the scene. We are called to be compassionate towards women in these situations and to speak up for the right to life of the unborn child as well. Because we can show both compassion for women in those situations and speak up for the unborn. It is the state that should and must do more to help women in these challenging situations and to help the vulnerable, innocent, unborn child in the womb. It really is not the job of the state to legislate for the killing of innocent children. It's the job of the state to create the conditions that allow for their flourishing and for the flourishing of their mothers, their fathers, the entire family unit, which is the foundation of society. And the same is true at the end of life. The state must play a responsible role in helping to look after our vulnerable sick, elderly, disabled, and those who suffer from poor mental health, to help support them and care for them and to provide the conditions necessary for others to do it too. Yet there are some who think that the state should be involved in helping people to kill themselves at the end of life by assisted suicide. It is a truly terrifying prospect, and one may legitimately ask, where does it end? As we have learned from the experience of other countries, once assisted suicide or euthanasia is legalized, it is inevitably expanded, its tentacles reaching further and further to draw in an increasing number of vulnerable people, including those who suffer from mental ill health, those with eating disorders, victims of domestic abuse, those who feel that they are a burden, or just simply those who are tired of life. There are people who are genuinely afraid or at least concerned about death. That's understandable. Most of us are. But we can't escape it. And we shouldn't put vulnerable people at risk whilst trying to dial down its effects. Nor should we ever suggest suicide as a solution to anything. This is about power, the power to take life. We've already experienced the destructive efforts of state power at the beginning of life, with those 10 million plus babies killed by abortion. We cannot allow it to also happen to vulnerable people at the end of life. Please, I ask you, pray for our country, for our parliament, that MSPs will vote to reject killing at the end of life when they vote on the assisted suicide bill next week. Pray that MSPs will resist legislating for the powerful to have this hold over the weak and vulnerable, as they do with abortion already. And if you haven't already done so, I would appeal to you to contact your MSPs. The easiest way to do it is to visit the Care Not Killing Scotland website. That's Care Not Killing Scotland. As I said at the outset, Every human life is precious and has value, no matter how young, old, weak, strong, disabled, able, and so on. As Pope Benedict XVI said, we are not some casual and meaningless product of evolution. Each of us is the result of a thought of God. Each of us is willed. Each of us is loved. Each of us is necessary. God thought you into existence, and that's how special you are. And by your creation, he has deemed you to be necessary, to be part of his plan. And so it is with every human being, including the unborn and those at the end of life. This evening, we have accompanied our Lord through his passion and death. He offers up his broken body for all of us and for the harms our world has inflicted on the weakest and most vulnerable. Our prayers tonight will be heard. Please continue to pray for the sanctity of life, for forgiveness for those who have been involved in abortion, and never cease working and praying for the protection of the vulnerable. May God bless your efforts. Thank you.